Hello. Okay, here we are. Let's just check my microphone. Yes, no. Now I can hear myself speak. Okay. So here we are with the C-46 Commando. And I thought we were going to... I was thinking we should take it for a ride. This is an aircraft that was released to Microsoft Flight Sim 2020, and I bought it there, and now it's been converted to Microsoft 2024. And if you bought it in Microsoft 2020, you get it as a free update. So it's been updated for 2024, which is nice. I am here at the airport. Let me double check the name. I'm at the Shabua airport along the river Brahmaputra in the northeastern part of India, and it's the starting point for the hump that this aircraft is originally famous for flying the hump. The hump is the transport route over the Himalayas during World War II, where they flew from this airport and a few others in this area over the Himalayas to China to resupply the forces there. So that's where this aircraft started its what do you call it? Fame. And this is the military version you get with the flight sim. You get a few liveries with the military original version. Navy, this OD green, and so on, and there is also a civilian version, a modern version with the Buffalo, I think, Airways livery, among others, from the TV series about that airline. Which is kind of cool. So, but this is the military version. So the older version there that doesn't have any GPSs and so on. We are here. We get a Jeep which says US Navy, even though this is the military green version of the aircraft. It's kind of fun. Nice Jeep though, to add some of the ambience to the aircraft. We get a captain, I suppose, trying to climb up this rickety ladder into the aircraft. I will show you how to remove all this. You can remove the chocks by the click spots, and if when you start the engine, the captain and his ladder and the Jeep disappears. But there is also a button in the cockpit to remove these things. There are no covers and no pedo covers to remove. I think this is a really good modeled aircraft. You can definitely see the Microsoft 2020 pedigree. However, it's crisp and yeah, round things are round, not any corners and so on. We have the wheel wells are like containing stuff and so on. It's just not just a box, even though you might not look at those things. I also really like the weathered look they have on these aircrafts. Only thing I'm missing actually is a livery for the Red Cross aircrafts, because these aircrafts was bought by the Red Cross organization, surplus, and flown extensively, for instance, in Africa after World War II. Excuse me a second here. I'm recovering from a cold here, so my voice may be a little bit... Yeah. Anyhow, let's jump aboard this aircraft and see what we get, or we can do a quick... Oh, well, I should show you something. Let's do this. Get in the aircraft, but we will jump out immediately. So if you click on the captain here, you will jump into the cockpit. Also, if you click on the door, you will jump in the cockpit. You can go back here and you can open the cargo door. And when you have done that, if you back up, you get sent into the cockpit too. Okay, that took me by surprise. Here we are in the cockpit. Let's go through all these things. So this is obviously a World War II era aircraft. I will change to my mouse, and let's get some of the stuff out of the way first. Well, let's finish the tour of the aircraft first. Okay, so let's begin in the back here. So this is the luxurious first class accommodations for our GIs here, and this door isn't, you can't open this door isn't, you can't open this door. The emergency exits are closed, but you can click on this door and then you get thrown outside again. We have a putt-putt, a generator here. We have the Astrodome with the necessary equipment to fix our position. However, it's just modeled, it's not working. Would be nice to have that sometime. I guess it's as an add-on or something, to be able to pick out stars and stuff, but I think maybe that's above the grade, or whatever I can learn. Anyhow, it's supposed to be really hard. Anyhow, we have some radio equipment, some yeah, all the other stuff here. This back here is only for ambience, and we have the Curtis logo on the chair. That's nice. We can open this door and get outside too. And for the cockpit, so we have some features first. If you click on this, has something to do with the autopilot emergency power. I don't know, it doesn't move over or do anything, so I'm hesitant to click it, and that's why I clicked it, I suppose. And then you have this one to remove and or to hide and show the columns. You have in the top overhead instrument panel here, you have a button for securing the aircraft, which you can use to remove all the shocks, remove the captain and this ladder and the jeep. So now we are ready to start up the aircraft. Okay, And while we're here, we might as well look at these things here. Left engine starters, we have the right engine starters, we have the magnetos, battery master, lights, the inverters, anti-ice controls, avionics on and off, floodlight inside the cockpit, rheostats for the light, volts, amperes, and the generators. So these are hidden behind the red guards here. If we look here, we have the compass, of course, we have the radios, the navigation radios, we have the ADF, and we have a transponder. And if we see ourselves in the cockpit, we can start on the left. Pitot heat, anti-ice valve, cold air valve. This isn't operational, at least not on the Xbox Series X that we are flying here. UV light control. So how this works is that these are coated with actually radioactive color or paint that reacts with UV lighting, so you get that iridescent green glow from the cockpit instruments when you fly at night. These are the fuel controls, and they are duplicated on the co-pilot side, and it's kind of hard to see what it says. But you have the tactile buttons here, so when you turn on the fuel or off the fuel, you can see that you have 1 dot for front, 2 dots for center tanks, and 3 dots for aft tanks. So that is a good thing to remember. So this is the left side and the right side. And of course the steering column, let's remove that. Airspeed, directional compass, we have the artificial horizon, of course the altitude. Let's set that to, I have custom weather today because it was really raining here. We have all the usual suspects, the HSI, or the directional navigation, which you control from here. When you set a navigation frequency, you set the course over here for that. And also one of these arrows will, not the ADF, but the VOR arrow will point at the station. So it's a little bit fiddly to navigate with this thing. Of course, the oxygen blinker, oxygen pressure, oil quantity, and de-icing pressure. In the middle here we have the evil stepfather of the modern autopilot, the Sperry, I think, gyropilot. Some people think it says it's easy to use. I kind of get a headache every time I try to use it. Thing is, when using this, you cannot think of it as an ordinary autopilot. It's not going to do anything for it. You have to trim the aircraft exactly like you want it, level flight at the right course, and then you adjust the settings and then you turn it on. If you run into like turbulent weather, you have to turn it off because it's useless with that. So it's just like a little bit of help. Manifold pressure with double gauges for left and right engine, RPM, clock of course, radio compass, fuel quantity front tank, fuel quantity center tank, and fuel quantity rear tank. So that's kind of obvious. On the co-pilot side, we have airspeed, altitude, and then we have all the other engine instruments here. So we have the oil temperature, which I see still is in Celsius. I haven't changed that, so well, we'll leave it like that. I think it has to do with my native settings in the simulator. We have the carb heat. We have the outside temperature. We have the, we talked about that earlier, the altitude. We have the oil pressure, fuel pressure, and the cylinder head temperatures. Flaps settings, hydraulic systems pressure, and where it does, okay. Hydraulic pressure, and then we all have a replication of the volts and the amps down here, just as we had overhead. And also we have the climb thing and the blinker and the oxygen. So the co-pilot can know for him or herself if they are passing out. On the right side, we have the recognition lights for the army or the military version. So this was used to get people on the ground to recognize that this is a friendly aircraft, and then they had the code of the day, so the code could be green, orange, red, or something like that. We will not be using this, and also the pitot blowout valve. So, and then we have the master battery control, and that is not simulator here, I think. These things we have, and then we have the UV lighting, and that we control that from the pilot side. Pitot heat switches, so we'll be doing the pitot heat from the left side of the cockpit. And then we have the center console. Yes, and let's start up here. We have the let's start on the left and outer left and right, the trim, of course. Let's see what the trim will do with my joystick settings. That's fine. And then we have the throttle levers, the big ones here. We have the propellers here. We have the mixture, and these the mixture goes in steps. So if you look to from the other side here, you can see that we have a marking here. So now we are on lean, auto rich, and rich. And what setting you have to use when, or should use when, I strongly suggest you download the manual for this. Also, downloading the manual is, at least for now, kind of critical for the checklist, because the checklist in the EFB isn't 100% proofed, and it's missing a couple of steps. So I'll be using the manuals, the PDF manuals checklist today, and you can download it via the Microsoft manuals page. Just search for manuals Microsoft Flight Sim, and you will get go to the page. Okay, so we had the mixture, the propellers, the throttles, and then we have the cowl flaps, open, close, and then we have the oil coolers, and they are closed, opened. So you can think of the flaps that you want to open to get things colder. You push them away from each other to get things cold, and to get things warm, you push them together. Landing light, extend and on. I think there is a bug here. I don't think the landing light works, at least not when I tried the Navy version. I haven't tried it in a dark environment, so they may just be a little bit on the let's say glowier side than the light side. I think we also have in the manual it states that if you click the middle friction knob you get the co-pilot here, but I suspect you need to have it activated in your global settings too, in your user settings. Anyhow, fuel boost pumps left and right. Feather switches is under here. Aileron trim, rudder trim, and then we have the feather prop. No, that's the prop feather. This is the prop selector switch, and I haven't used these, so we'll leave those alone. Crossfeed valves, one on each side. The flap lever, we have the parking brake, we have the supercharger, we have the carb heat. Supercharger is also called the blowers. So in the manual, when they talk about the blower, this is what they talk about. We'll have the tail wheel lock, which is very important in this aircraft. The landing gear lever and the interesting tow release here. So it's modeled, so maybe in the future we can tow gliders. That could be cool. And the logic here is if it's up, it's closed or in. If it's down, it's on or out. So off or in and on down. So now the gear lever is down, and so which it should be on the ground, otherwise we would be in trouble. The parking brake is not set. Oh, and these are just on and off switches, so you can't do like set your carb heat. You just turn them on or off. Okay, I think this is everything for the cockpit. We won't be using the autopilot today, I don't think, at least, because it's a whole other video by itself. So I was thinking we just take off from this airport, fly around a little bit, and then we land, hopefully. So without further tangents, hopefully we'll find the checklist in the manual. And parking brake. Okay, I have set up some views here for myself. So parking brake on, supercharger, low blower. So that's up. High blower is down. Carburetor heat cold, up, yes, cold. Landing gear handle down and latched. So it's down and it's latched. So the manual states that the handle has 3 settings, just like in a Boeing aircraft or something, that you push it all the way up. But when you are flying, you're supposed to set it in the middle off section, otherwise you won't get enough pressure to get it down again. Wing flaps up, tail wheel locked, yep. Feather switches normal, so normal, yes. So we assume that this is normal too. Yeah, I can spy it there. Aileron tabs, neutral, rudder tabs, neutral, elevator tabs, neutral. Mixture controlled, full rich. So 2, 3. So that's max rich. 1, 2, 3. Prop levels fully forward. Whoop. Throttles cracked. I guess that's cracked. That's correct. Cowl flaps open. Now the pilot's windsill. Fuel tank selector as desired. So what we'll do is we'll put the fuel tanks on the center. So two knobs. 1, 2, 2 knobs. Okay. On the instrument panel, gyro pilot off. Radios are off. So this thing is off. Radios are off. We have the avionics up here is off too. Overhead panel, light switches are off. Anti-ice switches are off. Battery switches. Okay, so now we go over to starting the engine. So battery switch on. Note that we don't turn on any lights because we need all the power we can get. Also, this aircraft predates the rules of turning on the lights to get the ground crew to know that you are going to turn on your blenders. Master and ignition switches on. So we'll do this one engine at a time. So this is the master switch. And the ignition okay. We'll turn this thing on. We'll turn the inverters on. We'll turn on the fuel pump. The boost pump for the right engine. Okay, so on. This is for both, but the right side on. Inverters. Okay, we'll leave this number 1 off on. And then we turn on the engine starter. 1, 2, mesh. 1, 2. And the propeller should be... No, it's not. So it's hard to see everything here. So we go on top again. Then we hold on to the primer. 15 turns, and then release. At least it says this way. It says that. So we got the right engine started. Still going. Yes. Okay. So magnetos, inverter, fuel boost, and now we can turn. No, we're not supposed to do that yet. Okay, generator on, by the way. Start. 1, 2, mesh. 1, 2. And here's the hard thing, because you're supposed to count 15 blades So, and here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh no. So I think they have simplified this somewhat. However, we got the engine started. We can be happy with that. Now we should turn on the generator for the port side. Happy deppy, everything is happy. We can we'll set the power to make sure we are at least 1,000 RPMs here. And then we'll turn off the boost pump switches. Doop doop. Okay. Before taxiing, hydraulic pressure behind. So system pressure, that's good. Main system or hydraulic pressure, main system pressure. We are where we're supposed to be. We can turn on the radios, so the avionics on. Altimeter set, clock set, choke security removed. We already removed that. We have the parking brake on. Tail wheel lock as desired. So parking brake. And then we do the engine run up, but we are already here at the end of the runway, so we might as well do the engine run up right away. So tail wheel is locked, parking brake is on, fuel booster pumps off. Yes, mixture auto reach, cowl flaps is open, fuel selector valves at takeoff tanks. We'll be using the same tanks as center tanks. Engine gauges. I don't really think you can destroy this engine. However, there are actually up here, you have the circuit breakers for the aircraft, and they are clickable, so I guess you can break some stuff, which is nice. Then we'll test the so you're supposed to do stuff. It's hard to reach in this aircraft sometimes. We want to be looking at all these gauges here. So superchargers high, then return to low. Oh my god. They did work. If we were actually flying over the Himalaya mountains, then I guess we would absolutely need those. Carburetor heat hot, then return to cold. You can see the carb air is changing, so we are a little bit hot now, but that's Generators are on. Manual prop control check. Works nice. Magnetos check. So we should get a... We'll be looking at the RPMs here, but every lever is in the way. So we'll and the manual does state this, but not in the checklist. You are supposed to push the engines to 1,400 RPMs. Or thereabouts, and then do the magneto tests. So starboard engine. Uh-oh. How do we do this? And these magnetos are looks brand spanking new. Port engine. Yeah, not much movement there. Which is a good thing. Okay. Okay. Oh, I forgot to mention, we can also open the windows and listen to the growling engines. But now we're going to fly, so let's taxi out to the runway. First we'll turn on the landing lights, and then we'll turn on all the position lights here. And then we can actually do... Let's check those lights. So if we look outside, turn around, we can see that the landing lights are out. And we have a faint glow here. So maybe it's just that they are weak. Let's check. We can do time. Yeah, so the landing lights works, but they're not very much. The navigation lights needs to, I think, be fixed. Okay. Back to real time. Okay. Also the propellers, we can change the throttle settings. They move accordingly. I know it looked a little bit sad just now, but it just happened so we was in that setting. There's one more thing I think we should do before we set off on our adventure. Nah, let's just fly. Now we have no load in the aircraft. You can load things in the aircraft, and according to the manual you will get stuff like cargo boxes and stuff back there, but we'll not mess with that now. You need to discover some stuff for yourselves. Okay, So let's taxi out to the runway. I set up a custom cockpit view here. That is a little bit, so this is the custom view. Look down a lot. But I think this view is better for takeoff. Okay. Parking brake off. Notice that we are rolling, and you are supposed to roll forward. We need to remove the tail lock too a little bit before you turn, otherwise you can destroy the tires on the tail wheel. So according to the SOP for this aircraft, and I was yeah. Did I do the tail wheel thing wrong? Maybe I did. Maybe it was off. Yes. Okay, excuse me. Forget what I said about the tail wheel. Whoop. Parking brake. We'll adjust that now. So tail wheel up is locked or open, down is locked. Now we're supposed to go a little bit further on the runway straight ahead, just for the tail wheel to adjust itself. And then we brake. Also, when you taxi this aircraft, don't forget to have the stick in your stomach all the time, because it tends to dip the nose, especially when it's empty. Okay, so what we'll do now is we'll lock the tail wheel down when it's straight. We have the parking brake on. We'll make sure that everything is the way it's supposed to be. So before takeoff, checklist trim tabs. So they are good. At least I think so. We have no cargo, so we'll set it a little bit nose down. Boost pump on. Boost pump on. Trim tabs neutral. Mixture auto rich. Prop controls fully forward. Cow flaps as required. So it's pretty hot outside. Let's see, what do we have? What temperature? I think we can close these. So we'll leave these closed because we want the temp to get up in the green here as soon as possible. Fuel selector valves, takeoff tanks, gyro instrument set and uncaged. We won't be using that evil thing. Engine instruments, normal readings, tail wheel locked, flight controls free. And then after takeoff we have gear, brakes, and then we have intermediate climb, 41 inches of mercury and 2,400 RPMs. And then that's the first, and then for climb we have 35 inches of mercury and 2,300 RPMs. Airspeed 120 to 128. We'll see about that. It was a while since I flew this aircraft, so things can go either way. And then at cruise, reduce the cruise settings, and you have that in the manual Cowl flaps should be closed. Tanks, use front tanks for 30 minutes. And then I guess you are free to choose whatever. Okay. Good thing, good thing. So everything is the way it is supposed to be. Flaps. So this aircraft can take off without flaps or at whatever flap setting you need. We'll do without flaps because we don't have any cargo on board. Okay. Parking brake off. And one thing to know about this aircraft is if you have a crosswind, you won't get any rudder authority until around 50 miles per hour. Positive rate, gear up. We'll check the gear lever up. I think we have uh-oh. Yeah, the gear is up. Okay. Also, I forgot to uncage this thing. We'll pull back to 35, 2,300. Whoops. A little bit sensitive there. Okay. We need to trim the aircraft. And the feeling is that you are... This is why I've set up my view like this. Because the feeling is that you are flying very much nose down. We are at cruise now, so we'll pull back a little bit more on the do 2521 just for flying around here. This is not SOP, this is just me guessing, by the way. But as we are already in the yellow, with the speed. Pull back a little bit more. How far back can we go? Or we're in the green, we're in the green. Carb air is good. Oil temperature is a little bit cold. Down, we don't want the nose to go down. Let's trim it up again. So this aircraft is really sensitive, so if you are going to fly for long stretches of time, you need to be learning how this thing works. Close up the oil thing is a little bit. See if we can get the temperature up. other than the trim is really sensitive on this aircraft. The trim is actually specified in the manual for use when taking off with a full load, not the stick. Anyhow, let's do a left turn. Try to keep the ball in the middle. The view outside on the left side is really good, obviously. Follow the river here for a while. So this is not, I didn't intend to do a flight tutorial, but this is more like a systems tutorial where everything is, so you can get started flying this magnificent beast. Okay, let's do a look outside. It looks the part. So I see some graphic missing stuff here and here. That's okay. So the lights and the cowlings. Let's do a screenshot of that. Maybe we can report that as a bug. As we are flying along the Brahmaputra. No, this is not the Brahmaputra. Or there's the Brahmaputra. This is a tributary. I don't know. I'm not an expert on the geographic features of of India. Let's see. Well, we can cheat. We can look. Yeah, this is Brahmaputra. This is just a tributary that we are following now. And this is the airport that we are starting from. This was also a airport used during World War II. And if I can get the autopilot to work sometime, then this aircraft is actually pretty... See, we are cold here on the oil. Maybe we need to press the engine a little bit harder. To get the heat up. Or am I wrong about the open and closed? So now the temperature goes up, so maybe it's the 100. Okay, so 100. We'll have to do some experimenting here. So open, yeah, it says open. Cow flaps closed. So this may be closed and this may be opened. Yes, I was wrong before. Well, I've been wrong before. So nothing new there. Shall we see if we can find our airport again? Pretty unused to this area, so we are getting closer. And as you can see, as stated in the manual, the trim is really sensitive. So with my Velocity 1 flight stick here, I use the trim wheel on the stick, and one click will get you this. One click down. Oh, well, now it's got momentum, so you have to use your throttle to help do the fine adjusting, the fine tuning. And you can see that in level flight, I don't know if you noticed that, but the aircraft tends to drift to the left, so you have to be on top of the rudder trim. At least that was the case in Microsoft Flight Sim 2020. I don't think that is our airport or airfield. Amazing landscape, this. I need to do more flying in India. I really do. Uh-oh. I think we should not fly any higher. Do some navigating cheating here. Okay. I don't think that is our airport. Okay, there it is. Not the one straight ahead, but the one on the left here. Or is that? Yeah, that's that one. VA2X4, and we are going to do a left turn here and see if we can find our ways. By the way, this is a nice view. Let's remove this thing. Where did... And now we're playing on the airport. So it's very graceful in the air, this aircraft, but you do need to fly it all the time, so I'm guessing for this aircraft it is good to learn the gyro pilot, how that thing works, and getting to understand it more than I do, because for a long flight it can be very tiring to sit here and trim and trim and trim and trim and be on top of the drift and everything. So we'll turn left here to whatever degrees. I haven't set up the compasses or anything here. There we are! We found it! Okay. So the flaps goes out on the final approach, and what flap setting you have for landing depends on how long your runway are, so you don't need to drop the flaps all the way down, and also the gray area is not the safe area for the flaps. It's other speeds for that, so I think below 140 we can drop the flaps to quarter. Don't quote me on that, check the manual, but we can at least drop the gear. Shall we look outside when we drop the gear? Do that from the side then, and nice. And we'll look inside. Whoa! And now we need to adjust ourselves a little bit here. So we'll drop some flaps. One notch. We'll look over here and we can see that these levers are in the way all the time. So we'll do half a flap, or half a flap, we'll do 50%. Also, when reading the manual, you will notice that this aircraft, if you're an experienced super duper C-46 pilot, then you can do a 3-point landing with it, or even a semi 3-point landing, but they actually recommend that you do a power on 2-point landing. Tail wheel is locked. That's also important for the landing. So we didn't turn off the boosters, so they are still on. Okay. And yeah, the controls, the pitch controls, I should say, are really sensitive. And I know that the trim, according to the manual, is really sensitive for this aircraft. However, the pitch, I don't know if it's the same or if it's accurate. So what we'll do is that we'll just land straight ahead. Hopefully. Roll to a stop, and then we'll end this tutorial turning off the engines and these things. Well, we'll see what time we are at. And you are sitting higher up than you think, so be prepared. Whoa! Here you go. Power off. Flaps up. Change the view. And roll, 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 roll. Do not brake. When we have bled off sufficient speed, we can slowly, slowly, slowly pull the stick towards us. Remember that under 50 miles per hour, we have almost no rudder authority at all. Yips. So tail wheel lock off, and now we can steer ourselves a little bit. So what we'll go off to the run-up area over here, and then we'll just do the turning off the stuff over there. Over here, over there. I just got a picture in my head of my middle school teacher teaching us. Here, there, these, those, that, and so on. Okay, so this is not a run-up area, this is a parking area. Good to know. Let's make sure we don't crash into anyone here. Whoa! It's easy to get the thing starting to turn around and then it swivels around with the inertia. So you have to be careful. I guess it also will help if you have differential throttles, which I don't. See? Here it comes. Okay. Let's set the parking brake. Happy. Phew. Boost pumps off. Flaps is up. Okay, let's see. What do we have to do? Before landing aircraft, we did all that. After landing, stopping engines. Before leaving aircraft, okay, I can't read. Cow flaps open. Well, we didn't have to do that. So, okay, after landing, cow flaps open. Props fully forward. Booster pumps off. Trim tabs neutral. Tail wheel unlocked. Not above 10 miles per hour. As I said before, it's easy to ground loop this thing. Mixtures idle. Cut off. And then we want to get all the fuel out of the engines. So I will be doing the mixture at the same time, like this. No, I won't, because I have changed my buttons on the joystick. So we'll do mixtures idle cutoff. Huh. Okay. That's kind of So I can't do that. And I don't do it over here. So what we'll do is we'll just turn off this. Left magneto off, right magneto off. Is this a bug maybe? Oh, we're standing here spewing out smoke. That can't be good. So maybe we can't turn off this engine. Prop feather boost. We can retract the landing light at least. Parking brake. Generators. Okay, I'll make another try, and then we'll just. Ah, okay. Here we go. Okay, we'll leave that. Magneto off. Magneto off. Okay. Yeah, don't quote me on that shutdown of the engine. That was not correct. Fuel selector valves off, so we'll switch these to the spot with no dots on them. All switches off. So, book. Avionics off. Position lights off. Beacon off. Inverters off. Generators off. Oops. Off. We'll leave these open so we know that they are off. And what else have we turned on? And we can secure aircraft. And then battery. Okay, let's jump out. So, except for my last debacle there. Okay, no chocks, no nothing. Not secured. Maybe we have to wait until... Yeah. So we are supposed to be getting the chocks now. But we didn't, so maybe that is something that isn't working either. Anyhow, I'm glad that you followed me on this tutorial, and I hope I will see you again sometime, maybe. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.